So first of all, and most important, each and every one of us has to do serious tshuva. Serious tshuva. You gotta sit, I know we after Yom Kippur. You gotta sit with yourself with a piece of paper and a pen and start writing down everything that you did and you didn't do and what you need to do. You need to do tshuva. Because if chas v'shalom, I should now be murdered by a terror attack or a missile or anything. And it can happen. By the way, I already switched in my mind to death mode. Not airplane mode. In my mind, I can die any second. Any second, a missile can fall and we're all kaput, right? That's facts. That's not now being scaring or facts. Open now your phones. Every 3-4 minutes there's some missile coming on Israel. Facts are that we can all die at any given moment. In any type of a way. So I already switched in my mind to I'm going to die any moment mode. That means that the reality is at any moment I can die. Now how do I want to die? I actually don't care the form of death. I care what's going to happen a minute later when I'm in the spiritual world. That's what I care. So take in your mind the option that you might die, in this case will be murdered, in any second. Chas v'shalom, I'm blessing you all to have a long life and nobody should be hurt. But let's put the details on the table. At any given moment, each and everyone can die. So I'm constantly thinking, if I'm going to be murdered tomorrow, I need to do serious tshuva. I need to do serious tshuva. Oh my God, the end is closer than we thought. Now if chas v'shalom, something should happen, at least go to the Shamayim with tshuva. I'm so grateful that Hashem is giving us such an opportunity. I'm all day long like a psychopath. What is in my mind? Neurotic. What did I do? What did I don't do? Because I might meet God in a second. You heard that woman from Netivot that met Biden? They asked her, are you excited to meet Biden? You know what she answered? I almost met God yesterday. Who's Biden? That's the woman from Sderot that was held hostage 18 hours in her apartment, the one that hugged Biden. She was asked, are you meeting Biden? Are you excited? She's like, I almost met God. Who's Biden? We might be God. Are you ready to meet God? Ask yourself this question and start doing tshuva. I'm not ready. I can tell you on myself, I'm not ready. So if I'm not ready, start getting ready. First of all, and most important, we have to do tshuva. We have to take it to a personal level and do tshuva in a very high level. First of all, I can tell you a few things that are very important to do, and I'll initiate whatever needs to be done towards that. Things beyond what you're already doing, I can already tell you that we know that for a fact. The Zohar says that, and many other great tzaddikim says that whoever learns Zohar will be saved from Gog Magog. So we're going to go back to learning Zohar. I don't know if I'll do it daily, but I'm talking about in a group. But expect next week to start having Zohar classes, and whoever knows how to read Zohar, you can read and learn. And women can read Zohar. There's no problem with women reading Zohar. You just read it. You don't have to really understand. Anyways, nobody understands anything. But I'm already telling you that will be one thing that I will do, and you should join too. Because the Zohar says clearly that the ones who learn the Zohar will survive the redemption berachamim. That's it. The second thing that I'm going to also initiate and do, but you have to pull your part, is that you have to understand that one of our biggest problems in the Sinat Chinam is Lashon Hara. It says clearly in the Talmud that a person who speaks Lashon Hara destroys the world. So we're going to continue and start and cover much more topics of Lashon Hara that everyone should start learning all the laws and the rules of Lashon Hara, because that's one of our biggest problems, is the gossiping. Lashon Hara means to gossip, to slander, and so forth, and everybody fails in Lashon Hara, including all of you. It depends how bad the Lashon Hara is. That's a big thing. I've been saying that for years. I'm sure you heard that some rabbis are initiating a 3-day fast. It's Monday, Thursday, Monday. It's great. Whoever can participate, fasts are always good. But if you want my opinion, the fasts should be the mouth, not the food, the talking. I will also teach and initiate these, but I'm telling you on your personal level, if you want to really be effective, it's you don't talk. It's called Ta'anit Dibur. You fast but not eating. You fast but not talking. You're allowed to pray. You're allowed to read Torah out loud. Everything that has to do with the Torah, you read Tehillim, you say it with your words, but you cannot talk. A greater way of doing Ta'anit Dibur is even that. You don't do nothing, just Torah you say. But I can tell you, and I gave some classes about that, you can find it on my website and the YouTube, our mouth is a problem. Is a big problem. The next thing, like I told you, we're going to do, I don't know yet how I'm going to do it, but we're going to do something similar to what we had then, the 40-day journey. I'll find the right dates. Give me some time. Maybe we'll do it that we end in Chanukah. I have to see and consult, but we're going to take a time that we're going to go and thoroughly learn everything about Sinat Chinam, about baseless hate, and more than what does it mean? Because I'm telling you, we all fell in it. We all fell in it miserably. And Hashem is telling us already, with all the acts that He did, that's the problem. You see the type of death, the type of the slaughter. You can just read between the lines what Hashem is trying to tell us. Another thing that I told you all to do, and I know nobody's doing it besides 5 people probably, and I'm going to force you to do it more by many different things, but I exposed to you 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, the Tikkun Gadol from the Shalah HaKadosh. And some people read it for 2 days and finished. So I'm going to print now thousands and thousands and thousands of the booklets of the Tikkun Gadol, and each and every one of you should start saying it every day, exactly like you say Tikkun HaKlali. And I explain what it means. Kriyat Shema, everything. Listen, you have to do everything. That's why I told you to take a piece of paper and a pen, and whatever comes to your mind, write it down and start doing it. The tshuva that we have to do, this is already the tshuva for survival. This is not to nullify a decree. This is already not a decree. Midat Adin is coming to get us. That's it. There's no other way of explaining it. There's no other way of sugarcoating it. I didn't listen to any of the rabbis online, which I never listen, but I didn't listen especially now, because I know I'm going to hear all sorts of annoying things. I'm telling you, if you don't get your act together real quick, if we don't get our act together as a nation within weeks, the next attack is going to come 10 times worse. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And by the way, don't get discouraged. There's going to be huge attacks even with our tshuva. We're not done with the attacks. Therefore, this comes to take me to another thing. If you remember, next week was supposed to be a cruise that some of you were supposed to come, and the rest maybe see the videos online. Everything that I told you today, by the way, was supposed to be spoken on in the cruise. Just that I didn't know that the attack will come that fast. So all the information that I was about to talk in the cruise is this, plus many other things. Because on the cruise, I'm a little bit less vulnerable to what I can say. So the cruise is canceled for now. I think it's just delayed. I don't know if I canceled. It doesn't matter. The cruise is not happening. So what's going to happen next week? Everything that I was about to deliver in the cruise will be delivered live. Because in the cruise I was about to talk about all this. All this. I wasn't about to talk about the salmon that we're going to fish from the deck. The cruise was designed, my lectures in the cruise is all this, all that I'm talking to you, plus many other things that some people care to know. But what do you think I was about to talk about there? Is to tell you how bad the situation is. So, one of the things that I was about to introduce in the cruise is a full-blown survival course that every individual will need to take to know how to survive the next coming years. I cannot give it to you in a class. You're telling me what to do. What to do? Do tshuva. Do tshuva and get your act together. And then the rest will follow. So Be'ezrat Hashem, with what to do, start with, first of all, go home, cry a little bit, take a piece of paper out and a pen and start writing what you need to get done. In your own private world. You don't have to share it with anyone. You do, but you do a good list. This is the life or death list. Okay? You have to understand, I have changed to that mode. I know nobody else has changed to that mode. I'm already operating on tomorrow I'm dying mode. You too? And there's nothing to be afraid of. If I have to die tomorrow, do you think that was because of Ibrahim or Muhammad? It's because that was the day that Hashem decided for me to die in whatever way He decides for me to die. With a head or without a head, or with body parts or without body parts. Whatever Hashem decides to do to me, I'll accept. You need to start accepting it. You need to start accepting it because 80 years ago, when a rabbi like me screamed, his name is Rav Ashlag, who went to Europe and screamed, "You are going to be murdered. You're going to be slaughtered. You're going to be burnt alive." You think anybody listened to him? No. A few thousands fled. So I'm telling you, and I'm not comparing myself in any type of a way to Rav Ashlag. Don't get it into your limited mind that I'm a hypocrite, I'm a arrogant, and I'm comparing myself to the Baal Sulam. I am not comparing myself in any type of a way to his spiritual level. But I'm still telling you that we are marching into another Holocaust, whether you want to accept it or not. You want to accept it, you prepare accordingly. You don't want to accept it, Hashem should have mercy on your soul. What don't you get here? Hashem has shown us clearly that He removed all blockages. I am coming now to bring the Geulah. Start getting excited. But do you think the redemption will come without a destruction? You're going to need to maneuver yourself now between the missiles. That's why you need to switch your mode to "I'm going to die tomorrow" mode. And there's nothing to be afraid. Do I look afraid to you? What am I going to be afraid? I'm with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. You know why I'm not afraid? Because I have bitachon in Hashem. I don't even have 1 ounce of fear, worry, or anything. And trust me, I'm much more prepared than most people in this country. Now, suddenly, after 2 years of everybody giving me a hard time, now everybody understands why my house is surrounded with security cameras, with guard dogs, and with a huge wall and metal doors. And then I'm going to tell you what's preparing for the idiot that will try to infiltrate into my house. You need to do the exact same thing. No different at all. I'm not telling you to go now and get vicious guard dogs. If you want, go ahead. I'll tell you where I got mine. But you think I'm playing games here? You think I'm going to sit like a shooting duck waiting for some idiot to come in? And I'm leaving everything to the hands of Hashem. You can prepare, and Hashem will go like this, and all your preparations are worthless. But you still prepare. Yaakov Avinu, when Esav was going towards him with 400 men, knowing that he's going into war, Yaakov prepared. He prepared for war. He prepared for peace. And he made amends with Hashem. We are going to take the Yaakov approach. You have to prepare for war. You have to prepare for peace. I'll explain to you what that means. And you have to be with Hashem. That's what Yaakov did. Nothing is different. The writing is now on the wall. If you don't see it, then you're not a blind, you're an idiot. Hashem is telling us, I am bringing the Geulah. Get excited. First do tshuva because you want to survive. Then I'm telling you what I'm going to do. What don't you get here? So don't think, now Tzal is prepared. You know, the last 2 weeks, in Tzfat, 3 times there were alarms, right? When the alarms it took off, first of all, nothing happened. Baruch Hashem, 1 missile was shot towards Tzfat, it was intercepted, and twice it was a scare that may be an infiltration of terrorists. But since the alarms didn't work that well 2 weeks ago in Shabbat, you're really putting your trust in the alarm? If you're waiting for the alarm to go off, then join the line of where they're giving approvals for stupidity. What are you waiting for? I'm not waiting for anyone. They already proved that I cannot count on the intelligence or any type of defense system, which means that I have to be triggered now. For me, in any second. In a healthy, not neurotic way. But any second, something can happen and I cannot trust the army to warn me or the sirens or anybody else. So, like I told you, if you want to do quickly things, first of all, you got to do tshuva. You got to do serious tshuva. I have numerous videos online. Bli Neder will initiate another tshuva course, how you do tshuva. You need to do real tshuva. First of all, because if we all die tomorrow, at least you go up to Shamayim with tshuva. Best advice you can ever get. Can't go wrong with that. Second of all, you need to understand exactly what's going on. I'm not for nothing talking for 3 hours. And there I told you at the beginning, it's the fact. You can't argue with the facts. I told you the 3 levels, how I'm making my analysis here. The fact you cannot argue. Number 2, the conspiracies. Who cares? Who cares? And no one will be able to give you the right answer. So take the conspiracies completely out of the equation. I don't care if it's the New World Order, if it's this, it's the Vatican, this. Who cares? You don't know. We know for a fact who's running the show, the Samech Mem, and his armies. That's what we need to know. How, when, who, what? Waste of time. And what's important is the third analysis. What does Hashem want? So what am I telling you clearly? Facts you can't argue. Conspiracy, ignore. Take the facts to Hashem. Hashem is angry? Can you argue with that? Hashem has proven to us that He has no problem approving babies being slaughtered and women being raped and men being killed. Can you argue with that? No. Saying in other words, Hashem says, no more nice guy. I will do another Holocaust if I need to. I love you. I love you more than anything. But I will slaughter you if I need to. So, go to the analysis of what I'm telling you. Try to figure out Hashem's language. It's not the government. It's not the New World Order. Who cares about all this nonsense? They're all puppets. How did you say? Pawns? Go directly to the source. Deal with the source. So to start, like I told you, do tshuva. What's tshuva? Sit with yourself. Make a whole list of all the bad things you do, the things you need to do, what you're not doing, what you are doing, what you're supposed to do, and start working on yourself. Increase in prayer, increase in Torah, increase in good deeds, increase in everything. That's a given. I told you, we have to start adding learning Zohar, Lashon Hara, reading Tikkun HaGadol, whatever you can. And I will assist and come with all these future videos that, like I told you, one of them, like I told you, that was supposed to be introduced in the cruise, But I have prepared already, I told you about it for the some of you who come to classes. I started preparing it 2 years ago. A full-blown survival course in video, in audio, in PDFs, everything you need to do from A to Z. That's a few months. That's what I was about to introduce in the cruise. So we'll do that too. You'll have to follow it. It's preparing not only mentally, also physically. You saw what happened. Civilians needed to fight. Old people needed to fight. We might be the next ones. Don't think it's not going to happen to me. We're right on the border with Lebanon. You have their 10,000 Hezbollah militants just waiting for the green light. Hezbollah is 10 times worse than Hamas, by the way. The most important thing is you have to understand one thing which I don't know how to give it over. Do not be afraid. Don't be afraid from anyone. The only one you need to have fear from is God. Don't be afraid. I'm not afraid of anything. I sleep well at night. I'm fine. I'm upset. No, I'm upset. Don't get me wrong. I'm very upset. I'm hurt in a very deep level by seeing everything. And not that I have an issue with seeing things. I have no problem seeing blood and body parts. I have no problem. This is the first time in my life that I'm deeply hurt in a soul level by seeing the suffering of other innocent people. I'm not myself like I was. Hashem this time hurt me in a level that I see something in a completely different way. But I'm aware enough to tell you there's nothing to be afraid of. When you are afraid, you are bringing all the issues on you. When you are afraid, you are a target. You have nobody to be afraid of, because Hashem is with us. Whoever's supposed to die, will die. Whoever's supposed to survive, will survive. You can't change anything. You can't argue, you can't fight. You can do what you need to do. I do believe that we can sweeten some of the judgments. But the way to understand that you have nothing to be afraid of, I told you, I don't know how to give it over. I will be extremely happy with myself that after 20 years, I'll be able to find the secret, how not to be afraid of anything. The secret is one word. It's called bitachon. Bitachon means that I trust Hashem. But you all trust Hashem. You know what's really bitachon? I promise you I will make a few classes about bitachon. Because right now what we need is bitachon. The Chazon Ish says, what is bitachon? That I know, I'm aware, with no doubt, that what is supposed to happen will happen, and have no way of avoiding it. That's bitachon. Real bitachon is knowing that everything comes from one source. Not Hamas, Hezbollah, Bibi, government, one source. So the true bitachon is that whatever has to happen, will happen. If I need to be murdered, doesn't matter. I know you're getting affected by the words that I'm saying. But you need to. But if I have to go through what I have to go through, no force in the world will change it. That's bitachon. So why should I be afraid? When you go to work, you have faith that at the end of the month, the boss will give you a check, right? Because every month he gave you the check. That's bitachon. But that you can't compare to God. God is telling you, everything that has to happen, will happen. You can't change it. And not only that, everything comes from one source. Saying in other words, we are in the hands of Hashem. I can't do nothing. So just can't beat them, join them. Join Hashem. Don't be afraid, because what is supposed to happen will happen. Prepare yourself emotionally, because your eyes are going to see horrible things. That's what they want, by the way. All the Hamas terrorists walked in with cameras with professional GoPros on their body for one reason: to show you what they're doing. Not to prove to the world, because it's actually kind of screws them. Right? Because they're denying. Now they're not denying. They filmed it to the world. Basically telling you, I will infiltrate your phone. I don't need to come to Gaza. I have your phone. I'm going to show you videos that you're going to throw your kishkas up. You're not going to sleep at night from the videos I'll show you. Not me, the Hamas is saying that. That's what I told you 7 years ago, the war of screens. It's all through the screens. They can win a war through the screens. Turn your phones off, turn your Facebooks off, turn it all off. 99% of it is not real. It's not the real news. More than that, it's just going to make it hard, and you won't be able to survive with watching all the videos. But you have to understand, there's no place here for sugarcoating. There's no place for, making it sound better in any type of a way. Chevre, we are marching into a Holocaust. Get your act together fast. What happened 2 weeks ago to our brothers can happen to us tomorrow. No difference. We can be a little bit more prepared. A little bit more prepared. You can easily make your house a bunker. Easily. Any house can easily be turned into a bunker, a safe place that you can hide for 6-7 hours. Well, not every house. But the point is that you have to prepare. This is no joke. This is no joke. This is Hashem telling us, I'm in business now. This is no joke. The introduction was only 2,000 dead. Okay? They say 1,300. I believe it's much more. The next time, add a zero. Okay? I'm not exaggerating. The next event will be much greater. Don't forget that in the Holocaust, for 5 years, every hour, 1,000 people were murdered. We just experienced 1,000 plus one time. In the Holocaust, for 5 years, every hour, 1,000 people were murdered. And you think there's not going to be another Holocaust? You think there's a chance that never again? Another one of the brainwashing systems to numb the Israeli citizens? Never again. Never again? Not only that, not ever again, next time worse. That should be the slogan. Not never again. Next time worse. And I don't know how people don't get it. So I know after 3 hours of me pounding on you, it's hard for me to tell you don't be afraid and everything will be okay. So I will try to summarize the lecture by saying, first of all, don't be naive. Don't be naive. And don't be such a conspiracy theory. I had that attack on me in the corona. Which, again, I'm saying it publicly, I can care less. But thousands mocked me as being one of the first ones who talked about the conspiracies. And I was mocked, which I'm fine. And all the truth has surfaced shortly after. And everything that I said actually happened. So if you want to mock me now again, I'll send you a beautiful glittery sticker that says stupid, and you can put it on your chest and carry it proudly. But the fact is, don't argue with the facts. The fact is that what you saw happen is much worse. We talked a little bit about the conspiracies, a little bit about the distortions, we talked about facts. You cannot argue with the facts. And we do have the conspiracies that are hovering over our head, but meditate on the fact that we woke up to a new world. We woke up to a new world after the corona. We woke up now to a new world after this. And by the way, go a year and a half back to the last lecture that I gave in Hanukkah, another 3-hour lecture. Go and listen to what I said there. And I said what's going to happen in 7 years. I said that there's going to be natural disasters and wars and terror attacks and starvation and famine. And not I. I'm reading what I read in the books. It's all going to happen. The more you are prepared emotionally, spiritually, and mentally and physically, then we're going into some difficult times that I strongly believe that anyone who has the right emunah can survive with no problem. We are finally going into the next stage of the redemption. Don't cry, because for the last 40 years, everybody's constantly saying, we want Mashiach, when is Mashiach coming? So you asked for Mashiach, right? So Hashem says, I'll bring you the Mashiach. It doesn't say anywhere that it will come nice. Lehefech. In all the text it says that it will come not nice. Like in all the other redemptions. I highly recommend to reevaluate your relationship with God. That's the only thing, that's the message that I need to tell you. Not the conspiracies, not the facts. Reevaluate your personal relationship with God. That's what God is telling you. Three things that I want to finish. I know the lecture is long. At this point, it doesn't matter long or not. The Zohar says something very scary. The Zohar says that this is going to happen before the coming of Mashiach. I don't want to get into descriptions. But then the Zohar says something very powerful. The only ones who will survive, remember this, write it down. The only ones who are going to survive are the ones who do not doubt Hashem. שלא חולקים על מידותיו. It's a very hard thing to do. When you see babies lined out without heads, it's very hard to, for a second, doubt Hashem or to question Hashem. Like people say, where was Hashem in the Holocaust? Most people that went through the Holocaust questioned Hashem, doubted Hashem and His actions. The Zohar says it's very, very strong. The only ones who will survive. What is going to happen now are the ones who do not doubt Hashem's actions. It's not so simple. Because now seeing the atrocities we saw, it's very difficult. Now I don't know how to say it in other way. But if I will have to deal, me, with one of the situations that people dealt with 2 weeks ago, I don't know if I would be standing this nisayon. Therefore, the Zohar is very, very, very straightforward. The only ones who will survive are the ones who are going to see with their own eyes these things and will not raise a eyebrow even for a second of doubt. They'll say, exactly like the famous quote that Rabbi Akiva was burnt alive. They cut his chest open to burn the heart while the heart is exposed after combing his entire body with metal rods. And there's a famous quote that as Rabbi Akiva is being tortured to death, says, Zeh Torah v'zeh schara? That's the reward of the Torah of Rabbi Akiva? And the answer is, Shtok kach ala li b'machshava. Shut up, that's the thought that came up to me. We can't doubt Hashem. That's how extreme the Zohar is. The ones who will survive are the ones who don't doubt Hashem. They don't question His actions. You accept it. Very hard. The second thing is that you have to understand, like I told you, it's all bitachon. Bitachon means that everything is Hashem's will. Work on that. Everything is Hashem's will. Everything is Hashem's will. So I have bitachon. It's Hashem's will. I can't do anything. Might as well be on Hashem's side. And the last and not least is to have Yirat Shamayim. Yirat Shamayim is God-fearing. Now a lot of people say, I have God-fearing, I'm afraid of God. Yirat Shamayim is not that I'm afraid of God. Yirat Shamayim, Yirah is the same letters of Re'iyah, seeing. Yirat shamayim amitit. Real yirat shamayim is that I see shamayim everywhere. That's yirat shamayim. Yirat shamayim is that I see, yireh, that the hand of God is everywhere. That's yirat shamayim. Even when you see a baby's head being cut off and a woman being raped over and over, that is the will of Hashem. That was Hashem's will. That's yirat shamayim amitit. And accepting it and shutting up and not saying anything and not expressing any anger and anything. Not easy. We're entering very, very difficult times. Very, very difficult times. I guarantee to you that if you attach yourself to Hashem, as we mention and chant when we open the ark, V'atem advekim b'Hashem Elokechem chayim kulchem hayom. Hayom means the day the redemption will happen. The translation, the ones of you who are holding on to Hashem, dvekim means glued. Chayim kulchem hayom. You live to see hayom, the day of the redemption. The level of dvekut in the Kadosh Baruch Hu has to change of everybody. This is not to take your winds out of your sails or to bring you into despair or fear. It's to make you stronger, but don't deny that this is not going to happen again. It's going to happen worse. If I have to say that 100 times, I will say that, and it's not about, I have to think good and it will be good and all these slogans. And you're creating a reality with your words. I'm just mocking the comments that people tell me. I'm not creating any reality. Hashem creates the reality. Right? Not me. And I trust me, from all people, I think good. Right? Think good, it will be good. I think very good. That's why I look totally normal. I know what Hashem is planning. I think good and I prepare myself the right way. So don't give me no nonsense of think it will be good and why are you bringing negativity to the world. I'm not bringing negativity to the world. I'm quoting text and gathering a lot of courage to just say the truth as it is to your face and telling you, what do you think you're dealing with? You think you're dealing with Hamas? You're dealing with God. You think we have an issue with Hamas? We have an issue with Bibi? With the Vatican, the Hezbollah? We have an issue with God. That for 3,000 years, as a nation, never kept Shabbat. I'm not talking about all the rest of the junk. Think about it. The Gemara and the Zohar clearly says that if as a nation we observe one Shabbat, the redemption is here. I'm not inventing anything. The redemption was not here till now. Must be that as a nation we never observed Shabbat. What do you take from that? I take from that a lot of patience from the Kadosh Baruch Hu, waiting 3,335 years for a nation to get their act together to keep Shabbat. This is called Erech HaPayim, one of the midot of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Patient. But I'm telling you now, no more patience. There is no more patience. Now Hashem is going to bring the Geulah how He wants to bring it. It's going to happen. Drill it in your brain. Prepare yourself emotionally, physically, mentally. You got to do tshuva. That's the only thing that will keep you sane. If you pray to God, it will keep you sane. Learn Tehillim, it will keep you sane. Learn Torah, you'll be fine. Be on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook all day long, it will drive you nuts. You'll have all the images in your mind, all the pictures, all the sounds, all the atrocities. You are now a victim. Do tshuva, get close to Hashem, you'll be fine. You'll have a sense of calm. You'll have a sense of security. Why? I trust Hashem. I trust Hashem. I trust Hashem so good, so much, that I have zero say here. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of anyone or nothing. Be strong. We're going to see the redemption very soon. It's coming. It's coming. It's not going to come nice. I do believe in miracles. I do believe that if our nation, along with the righteous Gentiles, not just our nation, we need the righteous Gentiles with us. You're talking about 2 billion people. I do believe, like all the prophecies, that 2/3 of the world will be destroyed. These are evil people that are marching in the streets and saying, "Free Palestine." So easily I can see 3, 4 billion or 5 billion of them being disappeared. How? I don't care. That's Hashem's job. But we need our nation. And by the way, we are a fraction from the nation that actually know that they're Jewish. I spoke about that. But nevertheless, we and the righteous Gentiles need to form together a solid group and accept the redemption. And it's not going to be so easy because there's so many enemies from so many different directions. I will pull to do one or 2 or 3 things. Will come some rabbis online that dislike me because I'm against vaccines or against the New World Order or whatever, and they'll mock me and go against me. That's what's going to happen, like it happened in all the past. I will, Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll start going back to learning Zohar, Ilchot Lashon Hara, we'll do some nice journeys of bitachon, and it will be appreciated by many, and I'm sure will come the next generation of clowns and mock me. And then we'll go back to the same situation of the sinat chinam, of the baseless hate, instead of joining or promoting, what does the thing is? Or whatever. And we're back to square one. Right? So you decide if you want to yo-yo, or if you want to get the show up and running. Now I'm telling you already, if we don't do anything, the show is going to be a long time. It's going to be years. Hashem is going to smear it. If we don't get involved, this situation will be smeared now on 6-7 years. Torture. That's going to be our reality. We can hasten everything and sweeten everything as we, as a human race, Jews and Gentiles alike, together, without hating each other. Listen, the core of evil, which is 2/3 of the world, you have nothing to do with it. Don't try to argue on comments on TikTok with the pro-Palestinian people on the videos. Waste of time. Waste of time to be in any chat, in any comment, anything. It's a waste of time. There's nobody to talk to. And that's not what you need to do. You need to get off all these things. But as a human race, if we get together, and I told you that a few years ago, Hashem is going to bring us to our knees as a human race, for us to scream that we want to be redeemed. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, there'll be a lot more follow-ups after this. For now, like I told you, go watch the video. The video will be edited. It will take probably a day or 2 to start putting all the footage on it. Maybe we'll cut the video into 2, 3. I don't know. You got the real deal. The main message that I have to say as me is that Hashem means business. This is not another event. This time Hashem put His stamp. It happened on Simchat Torah. It happened on Shabbat. So many stamps of Hashem telling us, I did it. Don't go running and saying it's Bibi or Ehud Barak and the Vatican and the New World Order. If you start saying that, I'll get more upset. Hashem says, I have put my stamp on it. What don't you get? Do you know? I don't know what it means. It's just an observation. A few times when Rosh Hashanah fell on Shabbat, which was this year, you know that twice in the destruction of the temple of Batei HaMikdash, that year Rosh Hashanah fell on Shabbat. I'm just giving an observation. That in the destruction of the first temple and destruction of second temple, in that year Rosh Hashanah fell on Shabbat. Hashem is putting the writing on the wall. He says, no Illuminati, no deep state, no Trump, no Q, no Z, no R, nothing! I am the address. That's what I saw clearly, that Hashem has spoken, exactly like the prophecy says in Zechariah, Dvar Hashem, the ones who are going to see the word of Hashem. Hashem has spoken. He wrote on the terror attack that he did it. I also hate the Hamas and the Hezbollah, but Hashem did it. Hashem did it, and I'm accepting it, that's His will. You have to accept it too. And now we have to act. Hashem has spoken and told us, the human race. I'm not talking Jews. And by the way, that's what I completely didn't have time to talk about. Now I know all the rest of the Jews in the world are going to say how unsafe Israel is and not even think of coming here. Wrong! Big mistake, my dear brothers and sisters from the diaspora. Israel is where the storm starts and eventually becomes the eye of the storm. I'm telling you now, I'm going to make a whole lecture just about that. But I'm telling you now to the viewers online and to your friends and families from the diaspora, the only safe place will be Israel. The storm starts in Israel, and as it's turning around like a hurricane, Israel will be the eye of the storm. Nowhere in the world will be safe, especially for Jews. Run to Israel right now when you still can. Tell all your loved ones and friends. Israel is going to be the only safe place. I will prepare a whole lecture. I prepared a whole lecture about that. I wanted to give it last week because it's concerning Noach, with all the text, all the sources, all the information, Zohar and so forth, how the flood did not occur in Israel, and nothing happened in Israel. And there's arguments on that because there was water in Israel, but it wasn't destructive water. I prepared for you a lecture and a half that the stamp of the lecture is that the only safe place in the world is Eretz Israel. So for my American, North American, or European brothers and sisters, come to Israel right now, by the way. Right now is the time to come. There's no better time to come to Israel than I know. And I told you that 4 or 5 years ago. I said it will start in Israel. It will be scary in Israel. I quoted the Noam Elimelech. I don't invent anything. Anything that I tell you, I read from a book. The Noam Elimelech says himself that it's at the time of the redemption, it's going to be very bad in Israel to a point that it's going to be scary and dangerous. But not to be afraid, because then it will be the most safest place. It's Eretz HaKodesh, the land of God. Everywhere else is not going to be safe. Don't even think of running away to your birthplace. Don't even think of turning around and going, now it's scary in Israel. And for the ones who are in the diaspora, buy tickets, come to Israel. And why? Because Hashem already graffitied His name all over the wall. This massacre has Hashem's signature on it. Don't doubt that. Don't argue with that. If you argue with that, you are a heretic. And now we need to take Hashem's word very serious. We need to take Hashem's word serious. Good news, redemption is coming. Not so good news, it's going to be bumpy. Bad news, you can't change the bumpy. Okay? Of course, we want to count of miracles. Miracles can happen. Happened with Haman and Mordechai and Esther. Happened with the Maccabim. We can experience a miracle. But you know what a zchut we need for a miracle? You know what a zchut, what a merit we need to get a miracle right now? So let's get the merit. I'm not negating the option. I speak negatively about what's going to happen because I see it happening. But with our actions as the human race, I repeat, not just the Jews, if we make a big action, we have a way of sweetening the judgment and nothing will happen. There is the way. I'm not negating, I'm not disqualifying the option. I'm just more realistic. Let's see now, get all the Jews to observe Shabbat. It's not going to happen. Let me see now if we can reduce the Lashon Hara by 90%. If we reduce it by 5%, we'll achieve something. But the fact is, and this is what I want you to go away from this class, lecture, whatever it is, our issue is with God. The dialogue has to be with God. The terms that needs to be discussed is with God. Hashem has placed everything on the table, and there's nothing you can argue about. We have to gain our favor back in the eyes of Hashem. As an individual, as a community, as a city, as a nation, as the human race. If we do not get our act together, it will be just sitting, waiting for whatever to happen will happen, and eventually the redemption will come. And some people say, the hell with it, it takes another 3-4 years, I'll wait safe, quietly somewhere. No. When Hashem is giving us the opportunity, we need to do something. We need to do something, and we need to understand this is 100% from Hashem, and the only one that can change anything is Baal HaMaaseh, the actual source and the one who's responsible for everything. Don't blame the government, don't blame the New World Order, don't blame the Arabs, don't blame the Hamas, don't blame anyone. So don't be angry at anyone. Don't be angry at the Hezbollah or the Hamas or the Israeli government, or Biden, or don't be angry. The only one you can be angry at is yourself for messing up God's commands for the last who knows how many years you are alive. And yes, you need to take action, each and every one. It's not up to me, it's not up to other rabbis. Each and every one of you need to take action. And why am I telling you that? Because the message that I got last week, like I told you, is Hashem told me, even your next door neighbor you can't trust. You are living in very hard times, like our ancestors lived in Soviet Union 120 years ago, like our ancestors and family lived in Europe 60, 70, 80 years ago. Nothing changed. En od milvado. There's nothing but Hashem. He is the cause of everything. He is the reason for everything. And He is the solution for everything.